Hello, Algebra students, and welcome to our Chapter 3 test review, Part 2, Bellwork and Notes. Okay, so Part 1 was in the last video. Part 2, I'm going to address some sets and unions and things like that. So here's our first one. Given that M equals the set 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and N equals the set 1, 2, 3, what is M union M? Remember, the U stands for union, so that means that not what do they have in common, it's what do they have all together, okay? And so the way you would write this is you would say this. Ooh, that's a bad color. Hold on, let me switch. Sorry about that. M union M. Ooh, not a U. Ooh, I can't write today. Sorry. M union N equals this set. And so what you want to do is you want to list every single element in order. So we have a 1, we have a 2, we have a 3, and in this set we have a 2, but we don't list it again. We have a 4, we have a 6, we have an 8, and we have a 10. And that's every single thing in that set. That would be the union. Okay, versus now the next one is what is M intersect N? So M intersect N is only what the two have in common. So M intersect N would be the set. Okay, so what do we have in common? A 2 and a 2, and that's it. That would be M intersect N. Okay, so union is everything that they both have without writing repeats. Okay, no repeats. Intersect, what do they have in common? Only. Okay, only what they have in common. And if they have nothing in common, you would put the empty set or the null set. Okay, all right. Another review again, because these are the challenging ones from the last video, so I just included them again here. Again, if you have an absolute value and an inequality, and everything's in the absolute value sign, the first thing you need to do is you need to split that up and solve two sides of it. Okay, so we're going to split it up like this. The first is it's just like you see it. X plus 2 is greater than 6. The other one that you would do is X plus 2 again, flip that inequality and make that answer negative. And so we're going to solve them. So we're going to subtract 2. So X is greater than 4. Great. We're going to subtract 2 here. So X is less than negative 8. Okay, cool. We got our two inequalities. The question is it and or? There is no better way to do this than to make a quick graph, okay, to know the answer to this. So if I make a quick graph, because it doesn't say graph, I only have to negative 8 is our lower one. I only have to include the two numbers that are on my inequality, okay? So negative 8 is over here, 4 is over here. Let's make the graph. So for the 4, that arrow is pointing to our right. So we'll open it. And for our negative 8, right, our arrow is pointing to our left. Okay, so these do not intersect here. So this is going to be joined by the word or. Now, if you want to be technically correct, though, you want to put them in order. So X is less than negative 8. That's your lower limit, right? Or X is greater than 4. And that would be our answer. That's our compound inequality answer. Okay, next one. There are 5 girls on the volleyball team that also play softball. There are 14 girls on the softball team. How many girls only play softball? Okay, so 5 girls on the volleyball team that also play softball. 14 girls on the softball team. So this is do not overcomplicate this. If there's 14 girls on the softball team, right? 5 of them we know play volleyball. All we have to do is 14 minus 5, and we get 9 girls that only play softball. Do not overcomplicate that. Okay, last but not least, another one of these fun things when we have a compound inequality. No absolute values this time, but again, it's similar, just like an absolute value where we have to split this up. We have to split this up as well, but what we split it into is different. We're going to take just this side and solve it, and then we're going to take just this side and solve it. Okay, so we're going to start here. 3 is less than negative 2x plus 1. That's one side we're going to solve. And the other side we're going to solve is negative 2x plus 1 is less than or equal to 7. Okay, so on this side, right, we're going to start by subtracting 1. Okay, good. So we got 2 is less than negative 2x. And then we're going to divide by negative 2 on both sides. And we get negative 1. Oh, sorry. Yep, negative 1. And because we divided by a negative, we have to flip this inequality the other way. Is greater than x. Okay, do not forget when you multiply or divide by a negative for an inequality, you must flip the inequality. All right, this side, same thing. Subtract 1. Okay, negative 2x then is less than or equal to 6. And again, we're going to divide by a negative here. Okay, so x, let's flip that inequality, is greater than or equal to negative 3. Okay. Remember to flip the inequality. We're all good. We have our two sides. Now we need to know if it's an and or an or. This one says and graph. So your graph must be accurate here. You must include more than just the two numbers, okay? So we're going to start. We're going to make our little graph. What is our lower limit here? What's the lowest number we need to have? Is it negative 1 or is it negative 3? It's negative 3, okay? So that's the lowest one. And then we're not going to skip to negative 1. We're going to put negative 2 in there and then negative 1. You can put other numbers around it, but those are the numbers you must have. You must have negative 3, negative 2, negative 1. Okay, let's go. So negative 1 is greater than x. Now, you have this one's flipped around, right? So if you want to use the cheat for graphing and we flip it, x, right? The alligator is eating the negative 1. All right, this is to use the graph. Ooh, I just accidentally wrote on that. Negative 1. So using it to graph, the arrow is pointing to our left. So we're going to do an open circle around the negative 1, and we're going to start by trying to point it this way. Okay? The negative 3, now this one is going to be a closed circle, right? And this one is going to point to our right. And so these are, in fact, going to connect. This is the graph. Now, when we write our inequality back together, it is customary to start with the lower limit. In this case, it's the negative 3 is what we start with. The negative 1 is going to be the end. The x is going to be in the middle. Let's double check. For the negative 3, the alligator is eating the x, right? So make the alligator eat the x. The negative 1, the alligator is eating the negative 1. So make the alligator eat the negative 1. Make sure this one has the line underneath it, and this one does not. Okay, whew, I think that is it. So hopefully this helps you study for this test along with your test review. Again, if you have any questions, please get a hold of me, email me, and I will do my best to help you out. Good luck, everybody.